Hey guys, Tyler 2K here. Just a quick announcement. I had a longer intro, but I'm deciding to cut it all down. Basically, I'm rebranding and reviving the FGC editorial channel, which will now be the Tyler 2K2 channel, where I'll post both Tekken game footage as well as Battlefield footage. This video here you're going to see is basically a preview of the things that I'm going to be posting on that channel, and it's going to be the start of the series, How to Dominate at Domination, where we'll specifically use bad weapons and teach you tactics for you to win. Using said tactics and a better gun, you can be doing even better. And one last thing, I'm going to do everything in post. That way I'm not actively drawing on the screen. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So again, we're joining into this game late. So very first thing, I hate to do this specifically, but yeah, there's a trick where by deploying a Claymore behind the spawn point, you can basically get people who are spawning in. Now granted, we're joining into a game late. We're currently just 6 points behind, so we're not doing too badly, but I have no idea the lay of the land. For all I know, someone could be coming up here, this lane, like from lower into site A, but like, okay, I'm going to place the Claymore early. There's a good chance that people will go from lower to here or from upper to here. First and foremost, when it comes to tactics and understanding what is actually going on, you're going to want to use your minimap. On the minimap, we have our 3 squad mates all looking towards B, 1 looking towards C, so we know we have contact up here, likely a sniper, but that's it. So in Domination, there are 8 players, so it's 8v8. I know where one of them is. I know where one of my teammates died, so there likely is a teammate here. Although I also know from this map that 4 is looking at just the ramp from C site to B site. There's absolutely nothing else beyond that. So right now, we're currently blind, so I'm going to play like we're blind. I switch off from my melee weapon, which allows us to run quicker, of course, and go down here. So now I'm looking towards lower C sort of area. And before I jump down, simply because in Big House here, there could be someone playing it, I'm going to go ahead and throw down my tug. So my ability to see opponents who are running quickly in the area. Now from the solo cap here, from one person capping B site, that means by definition there's only one person on site. So I know there likely isn't anyone here, but this portion here, this covered area of this map, allows for you to kind of camp under it without touching the site. So basically, by me throwing the early tugs here, I'm looking-ish into this house, as well as moving towards C, where they're likely to be positioned. So knowing that, I see there's a blind zone on radar. Again, 4 is looking towards here, but doesn't have great perspective. I'm going to go ahead and pre-nade ramp and drop into center B. So I'll pre-C4 into center house. No contact. Luckily, got a hit on the nade, which means ramp is likely where they're going to be pushing next, into a sweep around. So somehow this guy gets onto site. Luckily he misses. In this game, Battlefield, shotguns tend to one-shot you. So if I get hit by him, I am dead. I'm stuck in a reload animation. Jump around. A little bit dirty tactic, but I know I have an elevated position on him. Get an early headshot. So with this gun here, the UMP, I'm using what's called synthetic rounds, which deals 1.8 times damage to the headshot, which means we're going to want to go for the head. Also, notice how on this kit, because we are using such a poor weapon, we're going to want to make sure that we have a we have our flashlight attached. So flashlight blinds the opponents. Also, because this is an SMG, the submachine guns typically have a really good hipfire stat on them. So we don't need to run either a red laser, a green, or a blue laser. By using our flashlight, it actually improves the hipfire, just not as drastically as a laser, but we get the benefit of having the flashlight being our blind. So we're going to use that to our advantage all the time. So when you're using a very low tier weapon, you're going to want the flashlight attached to it. Now, depending on the gun, you might want to have a toggleable flashlight or one that's always on by default. It's up to your kind of personal play style. We'll talk about that later in a different video where I'm using a different flashlight. But just for now, realize that I am using the toggleable flashlight. But we're going to leave it on most of the time. Okay, we see here I'm already caught into a reload animation because I typically reload very aggressively. So knowing that, I cancel out of the reload and switch to our sidearm, which most importantly also has a flashlight. So the sidearm we're using here is the lesser of the 2 revolvers, and this revolver is a 2-shot to the chest at close range. Luckily, I hit a headshot. It really doesn't matter because we're only about like 10 meters away from our target, in which case, yeah, it's going to be a 2-tap no matter what. Importantly though, this pistol, the lower revolver, does not actually cause a one shot to the head regardless of the range. I think at 0 range to 5 meters, it does 90 damage point. Okay, so I continue my reload. Go upper. Luckily, catch a sniper. I had no idea he was here, and luckily he doesn't know I'm here. Perform a slide around. So in this game, in Battlefield 6, unfortunately, getting to your opponent's back is really, really hard because there's issues with the characters lining up and how they're synced. So I know that there's this like sort of desync. So basically I'm going to perform a slide to guarantee I get to his back, or what's considered his back, where we get a takedown for a one-hit kill naturally. Now I'm thinking of two things. I'm seeing 4 is looking towards the basically uncappable part of the map. I see a radar contact, so I'm going to go out and engage. So engage a lower, pop back up. Now all I know is we have a sniper here, so there's no way for me to effectively engage him. And even though the UMP is not bad at long range, he's way out of our effective range. So there's no reason to actually poke against him. Again, I am using synthetic rounds. We're going to 4 or 5 shot him at this range, but there's nothing here for me to do against this target. So I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go back to going with original game plan. I'm going to contain. Of course, I'm not seeing any other contacts here either I have to worry about. So I'm gonna go into just basically see contain. Quick look around, see no targets. Also important, I didn't hear any targets. Drop down, I see one guy. As talked about, the UMG is not good. Not good. Luckily, we get a strike on his bag, so he's trying to heal up. He realizes he's pinned. I realize he's pinned. I have to reload, so now I'm going to long swing to the right to get him down. So I know I'm going to swing here. I also know there's no lower contacts here I have to worry about. Basically, it's a time game at this point. Hit the bag again. He is suppressed, so there's no healing for him. Swing around. He luckily gets a headshot on me, but it doesn't matter. Still get him. Okay, swing to C. I have one contact here. I immediately see. We also have the sniper playing upper. Engage lower sniper. So I see now, of course, you know, in hindsight, there's no way for me to know this is a sniper. But as soon as I ADS on him, I'm using a 5x scope with the gun because this is basically like a long range kind of control gun, even though it's an SMG. I seize a sniper. I get hit. I'm in trouble. The issue is with Recon class, the sniper class here, whenever they hit you, you pop up on radar. So everyone on the map is going to know where I'm at. But first things first, we need to make sure that the sniper's dead because we're on a clock. Take control of C site. Obviously, you see the guy here. The problem is because I'm spotted, as talked about, just a big clock. I have 5 seconds of everyone knowing where I am on the map. And of course, this being a smaller map, Domination, I'm in trouble. Of course, I'm dead. Nothing I can do about that. So I know on initial spawn that it looks to be a C trap. Typically what happens is you'll continuously spawn in a particular location until there's an X amount of teammates who overcome the spawn's count. What happens, 8 people, if there's basically 3 people in the spawn point, or what's considered like the spawn point for your opponent, it'll cause something called a spawn flip. Here we have a heavy distribution of our teammates here. We're getting to the point where a spawn flip is likely going to occur soon. Spawn flipping is really important in any sort of small count game mode. Domination, King of the Hill, TDM, squad match, stuff like that. So that's really, really important. We'll talk about that later, but not today. Get an early contact to left. Pre-nade lower here, basically understanding that this guy who had killed me is likely going to swing out to the right or swing out to the left here. So I'm going to basically throw a Claymore. Likely the nade's not going to get any value because during this kind of time of me chucking it, right, we can look down ramp, we don't see anyone. And the little jump kind of confirms it. With that being said, I'm going to use the grenade as contained, throw down the Claymore. Okay, have a contact. Luckily he gets taken out before we have to worry about it. Now, understanding that they are effectively C-trapped, I'm going to use the tugs to better understand this situation. So here we don't have any radar contacts. But using the tugs, we have control of this house, as well as ramp, and a little bit of the alleyway going into like the almost like Broadway or whatever I call it. So, tugs drop. Here we go. It's important to understand, and this kind of goes to like the old cruise missile kind of meme.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't.
Remember, when we don't have any sort of radar contacts or noise or anything, we can deduce where the opponent is currently located from the mini-map. We again have 2 looking towards sniper position. I have 1 looking towards kind of like lower Broadway. I'm swinging down here. I have control over C completely. And then again, 4 is also furthermore looking down here in like this hut area. Seeing the dead contact, the only thing I can deduce is the opponent is playing a lower kind of hut. So, knowing that, go for basically kind of like chop control. Initially, I'm going for here, but during my jump out, I see the spot on here. Cancel my idea. It's important that when you jump out of a window or any sort of higher location, you might take damage, but whenever you perform like a tech roll that reduces incoming damage on the fall damage, you actually don't recover instantly. In certain situations, you don't want to tech roll, so anytime you know there's an opponent who's nearby who might kill you right away, don't get stuck in a roll animation. Now I have a radar contact, swing around, and we get 3v1. Nothing you can do, but I'm going to go ahead and mark it nonetheless again by double tapping Q to make sure my teammates know where it's at. Knowing he's here, not the best nade. I was trying to get into lower Broadway, but at the same time, not that bad. Grenades in Battlefield 6, in people like you, maybe if you randomly watching this video, you played against me, you know I'm really good with grenades, but it's important to understand how grenades work. So during the grenade throw, it's not active on the fuse, and not until the grenade hits something. So here is the fuse counter start going. So that allows for the grenade to fall. And then after about 3 seconds, the grenade will basically detonate. So we got the guy stuck out with the M320. Luckily, we don't get one shot by him. So of course, we're going to finish the kill on him and swing back to center. Quick peek here during the swing animation or the slide animation, see someone. But yeah, we're basically dead to rights. Obviously, the idea being that once we swing to like this box here, I will have an opportunity to draw the C4, throw it through the window, and kill him. If we don't kill him, at least we'll be in a good spot. Obviously, he had 38 health. No way for me to know that. Okay, so I know someone is in the house. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and pre-nade. Swing down here, slide out. Luckily, hit him with this Claymore that it had set up initially. So now, knowing that we have the Claymore has like fallen, now I'm going to go ahead and kind of expound upon what I set up earlier. So now, again, I have the Claymore controlling ramp, grenade controlling ramp down further. We have a Claymore pop here. So now it's like, okay, I can use my Claymore to, again, better set up control on this area, because likely, right, they're most likely to swing from C spawn to B, try to capture it. So that means the only way for them to safely get into B site is over the top on the roof or through this window. But by me controlling this part of the map, now I can effectively challenge them. And remember, I'm not using a good gun, so I have to better understand angles and distance and stuff like that. But we have our flashlight. Okay, luckily it gets killed by someone on the roof. Hard to say because I'm talking. But I hear pitter-patter here. Now, I don't have any sort of radar contact on him, so I'm going to go ahead and assume the worst, and I'm going to pre-C4 this spot. So I'm not expecting to kill the target. I'm expecting just to possibly use the C4 as what I used to call back in the day with like TAC Ops. You guys ever played that? Nadar. Basically, the idea is whenever a grenade detonates or an explosive detonates, we do damage. The more damage the opponent takes, if it doesn't one-shot them, the closer they are. But more importantly, in this game, there's something called a suppression effect. So we don't get a suppression, which means there is no opponent anywhere nearby to the C4. Now, C4 in this game, not the best, but it does tell me that there's basically no one is here. So I have radar contact. Looking over. I have to imagine he's somewhere in this vicinity. So again, this alleyway, C4 over. Very bad C4, but it's okay. I'm already committed. I don't want to stay in the site too long, so I'm going to keep going. Okay. So I hear, again, a little bit of sound here. It sounds like coming from the doorway specifically. So lower option, again, I have no radar contact. But I can hear him. He's somewhere around here. Oh yeah, one other thing of note, this is a small thing that, you know, a lot of people are going to improve on. Understanding the reload time of your weapon is really, really important. So it's important to understand, okay, I'm going to kind of go in like a circular pattern, but I'm not going to commit to an angle until the reload is complete. Little small things like that. My kind of semi-famous clip where we're playing on Manhattan Bridge or whatever, and the helicopter falls down and almost crushes my dead teammate. A little serpentine pattern as I reload before I pick up my teammate, rather than just pick him up, be stuck in an animation, and now if an opponent suddenly appears, I'm dead, he's dead, no one's going to be happy, right? Little things like that, little optimization lines are super important. Okay, so see no contact. So initially when I'm in this position, it's important to understand like your teammates are trying to do their sort of best, and they might not always be good, but you know that as soon as someone's spotted, they're likely being engaged. So I'm worrying about who's going to kill me first, rather than worry about this contact that I saw on B site. Especially, this is one important thing in like FPS in general. All that matters is that when you are engaging an opponent, they are effectively, for the most part, 1v1. If all you do is win your 1v1 and then still die, your team is significantly more likely to win. And your 1v1, right, again, you self-heal or whatever, now your 1v1 cascades. So as long as you're winning your 1v1s, you're in an okay spot. So again, being an 8v8 game mode, 1v1ing is so much more important than it is in like a conquest or a breakthrough, where it's like a huge amount of people fighting simultaneously. But in this game mode specifically, do your best to win 1v1s whenever possible. That's it. Beat your opponent 1v1 and you're more likely going to win in general. So that comes down to, again, prioritizing targets. I know someone's close. I'm effectively in mortal danger. I know he's being engaged by someone, or at least spotted, so someone is kind of pinning him down, or at least maybe has hurt him. I'm going to worry about the imminent threat first. Who's going to kill me first? Jump over. Okay, he's not there. I'm going to bug out, and now I'm going to go back to protect Site B. So I know that the timer is ticking. I can see it. So despite the fact that he's no longer spotted, statistically he's in that same position or in a semi-similar position. So knowing that, we jump out, get a quick lay of the land. We see him right away, and then start engaging him with our UMP. Here, I'm on site, 1-0, so I know there's no one here. I'm going to wait for it to recap, but I'm also going to play proactively to still engage, or contain rather, the opponents into C spot. Okay, so I missed it the first time actually, but I see radar contact. Notice how the dot is red. There's no arrow on it, so that means the elevation states that he's effectively in the same height as us. When I swung here, I guess subconsciously, I also saw the green laser. Green lasers and blue lasers are visible. The only lasers that are invisible to humans, you know, in the game are red lasers and violet lasers. With that being said, if you still aim at someone, they can still see your red laser or violet laser. It's mechanical dazzle, which is something they had added in Battlefield 3. Okay, so I see him. I understand that it's probably smarter to do a flank engagement rather than heads up, especially with this gun. I see that nade passed me, so someone is on lower. Engage him. Here on lower position. I know someone's here. I'm going to C4. Hyper aggressive position. Miss the C4. And then I understand that there's a mechanic. Well, they call it sprint recovery, but it actually means how quickly you can switch guns. So switching to my UMP, despite the fact that it's really fast, is nowhere near as quick as switching to my sidearm, my revolver. So again, here's what it looks like when someone has a flashlight on you. So knowing that, switched my own sidearm. And again, because we're using the lower revolver, do shot at close range. So hit a headshot on the last hit, which is unnecessary because again, a body shot would win, but it doesn't matter. So jump down, contain him. Luckily, he's using a KTS, so the damage is not that good. Also, he's expecting me to be playing upper, so I catch him off guard with that. But again, steering our targets. We have a radar contact and lower, so statistically he's going to be either coming up the staircase or maybe hiding in the house. And then we win this engagement handily. Luckily, we do get a Claymore kill on kind of lower Broadway, so we get like a little quad action going. But yeah, this goes to show you how one player, again, can so easily dominate by both tech control as well as just containing where they're likely to come out of. So here, I got a 4-piece, so again, that's 8v8, which means I've killed effectively the half team in the span of like 2 seconds. Now I know for a fact, again, so we're outside of the C spawn, they're likely going to still be C-trapped here. So important, reload both your guns. If you have an opportunity to use multiple weapons, reload them. Don't be stuck with your pants down because you forgot to reload your pistol. Super important to just reload your sidearm whenever possible. Here we go. Again, we know where the opponents are because we can see where they are not currently. So I know I can push my way down ramp area. And now, same thing. I'm going to proactively move my tugs into a position where they are likely to be. Again, we went from, notice this, we went from 0 information regarding where the opponent is currently located. And by one simple understanding of where they potentially could be and being sure to use our tech, bam. Instantly, I know everything about what's going on this map. So I know there's heads-up engagement. I have someone play upper. Unfortunately, here I kind of panicked because I knew there's someone playing upper. But we kill this lower guy. Same thing. Weird that this guy kind of bugged out. He definitely should have traded me. So I'm going to go ahead and pursue him. And let me do this full speed first to show you what I'm doing. And this might look innocuous, what I'm doing. But, okay. So let's talk about this special type of movement here. I'm playing Recon. Recon has a perk, or whatever you want to call it, their specialty. And I'm playing, I think it's called Spec Ops. So if you notice, I'm probably crouch running a lot. It's because when you're crouch running as a Recon, basically make near to no noise. Now there's a trick to make near to no noise during this motion. And I don't have a technical term for it. You either can call it like wave crouching. I don't want to say wave dashing, but what we're doing a crouch uncrouch motion during our movement. By doing this kind of hybrid movement, we are both quiet and semi-fast simultaneously. Now we're not running full speed when I'm initiating this, but we are running faster than crouch sprinting. So of course, full sprinting is faster than crouch sprinting. Crouch sprinting is still pretty fast, and again, I'm not making any sound. But now I'm crouching. So crouching, let go, crouching, let go, crouching. So not only do we get the crouch sprint where we're doing faster than normal movement, we're making less noise, but also at any time during my wave crouch, or what do you want to call it, I can also buffer the double tap crouch to perform a slide. So I know the guy's not moving. He gets a little bit lucky. I lost my position on him. But yeah, we don't get any sort of hit on him. Also, again, we are using an ump. But again, let me go ahead and rewind that. The crouch, 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 double tap. So again, we're making almost no sound. And he's able to evade us. Unfortunately, I don't have any C4 to basically root him out of this roof. So instead, I'm going to go back to playing effectively contained. I see someone C-capping. So I'm going to go ahead and aid on the C-cap by potentially killing people who could have an angle on him. Of course, I don't have any sort of control on the hut, but I can do the best I can. And that's, again, 1v1. That's all that really matters, right? Knowing that the opponent's still above me. Drop down. So I missed the crouch, or sorry, the roof grab. In Season 3, they nerfed movement midair. Basically, I'm already committed to this move. If I was a little bit quicker, I might be able to grab onto the roof, but I miss it. So we go on to our normal strat. Okay, we missed it. We missed our control on C. Obviously, our C capper died, which would be perfect if I can, get on top of the roof and kill whoever killed him and kind of get a trade. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play off this guy who's engaging someone else. So here's the issue, right? One of the problems with crouch sprinting and whatnot. So we don't get the kill on him. We hit him 3 times, and then he's using the bigger revolver, which is a one-shot against us. That happens quite frequently, but you have to take in the stride. Okay, I'm pre-nading ramp, or deeper ramp, sorry. So same thing, I still have Claymore up, so I don't need to commit there. Pre-C4, get the hit. I didn't expect him to be right there, but I'll go ahead and take it nonetheless. C4 around, again, same idea. We're going to go ahead and try to contain our target. So he's hurt, he's suppressed, he's getting shot at. So I know he's likely going to either panic here and try to go around the corner, or maybe try to get up ladder. So I'm going to pre-C4 that. And then play off our position. So understanding my teammate is engaging him, I can effectively go over the top. And then, yeah, he's been taken care of. So I did hear someone here on lower. Had the radar contact too. So pre-C4 it. So either this, you know, again, no suppression. So we know he's nowhere nearby. But still go over. Okay, so I've lost track of him. Important. If you lost track of your target and you have no idea who's there, slow it down. Especially when we have a Tugs here who's also restricting our own movement. In case you don't know, the Tug system, which is the default option or tech for the Recon, again, makes a little, I don't remember, it's like 20 meter or so area around the Tugs where you cannot run through it. You can crouch through it, you can go prone through it, you can walk through it, but you cannot sprint nor crouch sprint. So I know I'm effectively spotted. So again, I don't know where he's at. I'm going to play it slow. I have one contact outside here who's just outside of C site. So now I'm going to play that angle. Okay, where's C site at? Where's C site at? You're going to quick get me? Okay, I see he's running towards hut. Now I can differently engage. I'll use C4 through the wall. I'll blow up the wall. And luckily, there was someone there because we got 100 hit, and the 40 hit is for the Tugs itself. Yeah, so unfortunately, again, we are using a bad gun. So we don't get him. And I did see the HE, the grenade, but I know I'm dead. So I try to get away from it, but yeah, it's way too late. Okay, same thing. We have ramp. I'm going to go ahead and nade it. I'm going to give a little bit more angle on the grenade throw because I want to control this close portion of the ramp. Just in case he keeps playing there. Okay, so here's another trick when it comes to Claymore placement. So again, we have 2 contained Claymores. Now I'm going to more proactively throw a Claymore where they're more likely to occur, which would be on the staircase. It looks like I had bad placement. Unfortunately, it put it the wrong way. But yeah, using shadows is a great way to hide the location on Claymores or mines specifically. Because yeah, it's harder to see them rather than out in the open where it's very easy to see. Don't know where they're at. I have one contact. Basically, I'm going to C4. I did way too early on the C4. No angle. Also, I'm solo camping here. Same thing. I know where they're at, but I'm also going to do the most pertinent thing, which is just to make sure we cap first. So I'm going to use Tugs to our advantage. Now I'm containing this area with the Tugs. I'm going to have a natural advantage over anyone who's trapped here. So I hear someone. C4 over. Enemy spot is not the same as suppression, so I know no one's nearby to that C4. And then luckily I turn the corner and to see someone here. Get a headshot here. Let me go ahead and back up on that one again. So get the headshot. So while you're in the animation of reloading, you can still perform E actions. So knowing that, look at the door, hit E to close it. That way it's harder for them to look into sight. And then still reload. So kind of actions per minute idea, right? We're doing multiple things simultaneously, whereas our opponent might be doing things at like a one and done sort of situation. But we're doing multiple things simultaneously to set up our next option. So I know someone's still over there. I can hear him. Hence the door close. Hence the C4. Pop the C4. Again, no suppression, so I know he is not in this sort of area, which means he's either here or potentially here. Either way, with this sort of wall up, I don't have to worry about it because there's no line of sight on me from his angle. Now, there is a box that he could be holding. Pop it again. And now here, one other thing that a lot of people don't really know is that Recon can diffuse both Claymores as well as decoys. Engineers can diffuse mines and slams and stuff like that. But if you actually have the whatever you're diffusing equipped, you'll actually take that in your advantage. So I diffuse it. Now I suddenly have an extra Claymore. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it down. Same thing, control around C. I don't know how I got engulfed, but of course hit Z or prone to put the fire out and go about your day. And here the map is basically over, so we're just going to hold C site to make sure no one can get any sort of stealthily stuff in. So same thing, no suppression, don't know where he's at. And then one last little tip here is, even though at the end of a match you can die, but it doesn't count towards your deaths, kills do count. So if you want to stat pad, just be sure to kill whoever's still a remainder. That way your stats look better. Okay, yeah, and that's how you basically can dominate at Domination. Now, I'm probably not going to do like a full breakdown like this again, but I will kind of piecemeal sort of things where there's situations that people might not quite understand and how to improve yourself at said situation. So I already have one kind of queued up. So again, this will be on my Tyler2K2 channel, which is, again, the rebranding of FGC editorial. Consider subscribing there. That way, you know, I can eventually make money on the channel. But right now, yeah, we have too few subs, but I'd be appreciated if you would sub that if you like what I'm doing. Again, there will also be Tekken footage. So I used to do kind of breakdowns on that channel when I was leveling up too. Maybe I'll do something like that in the future as well. But yeah, that'll be, again, for Battlefield specific content, Tekken kind of walkthroughs and stuff like that. Whereas our 2K blog site will be dedicated to, you know, quick tips, match reviews, tutorials, breakdowns, stuff like that. The Tyler 2K2 site will be more in-depth kind of gameplay scenarios and stuff like that for multiple games. So, okay, if you like what I'm doing, consider becoming a member. It's how we make money on the channel. Again, consider subscribing for free to Tyler 2K2, my other YouTube channel. And if there's anything else you want to see, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And I'll see you guys next video. Okay, later on.